So I didn't mention this earlier, but we should be doing this as we're going along. Is I want to make sure I'm looking at my wireframe here and then using this as my guide, right? So I already knew this was going to go all 12 across, like such as you see here. So that's going to be my nav bar. That's fine. The next section here was going to be a slider, so I can see my naming as well here. So that kind of helps. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my slider / carousel / slideshow. That's going to be the next element that's going to be contained within this. So just like before, what I want to do is we're going to make a section, and then we're going to make it a class, and we're going to make it a row. Okay, so because that's going to be the next section, and that's going to be our slider. So again, we're going to do an article and there's only going to be one article, just like there was in the first one, and that's going to be class. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do COL, like so. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to do kind of the same thing we did here. So I can actually, let's just steal this. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to Control C, Control V. So P, class, block, style. Now for the height, I'm actually going to do this a little bit differently. Well, let's change the name first, actually. So we'll just call this slider, so I know what it is. For the height, though, instead of using EMs, I'm going to use VWs, okay? So we're going to go 40 VW. So what that means is the vertical width. So it's going to be 40% of what my width is, okay? So I'll show you what that means in a second. So save that. Then we're going to go into here. I'm going to hit Control R, and you're going to see it here. So let me show you basically what that means. You'll notice now that as I scale this in, notice that this actually gets thinner. Notice this one does not, because this is going to take the total size and it's going to scale it basically proportionately to the size of the page, okay? This one, the width on this is EM, so that's based on the size of the typeface. Well, the size of the typeface doesn't change based on the width of this, right? Which I don't really want the nav bar to get thinner. That might get weird. But the picture I do, because if it stays this large when I go to scale it in, it's either going to get cut off or it's going to get like really vertical, right? Because like this is meant to be a landscape photo. It's going to end up being a portrait once it gets to this point if it ends up being the same size. So I do want that to scale. So that's why we're going to use the VWs. I could also just done percentages. That would be fine. But it wouldn't work as well for what I'm doing. Now, the other thing I want to also note is this. Look at the outside of this bar, okay? Notice as I shrink it, it just stays 100% with that, right? It goes all the way to the edge, and it moves 100% with it. So that is fluid. Remember, it was container fluid? That's what container fluid does, is it makes it go, and it just stretches. It's basically a percentage, like what I was showing you before when we had liquid or fluid design. That's what that container fluid's doing. Now, if you look at the other one, notice this one kind of does this thing where it snaps, and it keeps these big margins on either side. That is the regular container. Now, you'll notice that my website, for the most part, when you look at mine, where are you? Is that it? Okay. When you look at mine, for the most part, that's the way mine is, right? So most of this is container. However, if you look at the very top, you'll see that this is not. This part's fluid, right? This goes all the way to the edge, okay? So that's sort of what we're doing here. Not too different, really. Okay? So that's the idea. So that's why that one's fluid and this one's a container. Now, what I would like to do is actually we'll just do that for now, and then we'll adjust some things afterwards. Okay, so now we have our slider. So now I want to make some more areas, right? So I'm going to do another section because I just want that to be the only thing that's across. That's the row. So we're going to do another section. Sometimes I find it easier if you actually put spaces in between. So we're going to do section again, class, and we're going to make this a row as well. Basically, every section will be a row, and every article will be a column. That's the way we're more or less going to like work this. It is possible to do all of this through divs. However, by using these semantic tags, it should be better for the bots when they go through our websites and they index them. Okay, so good. So now we have our section row, and then what I'm going to do is, if we look at my illustration, I have this, right? next was supposed to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I need to do 4 columns across. So what we're going to do is section row, then it's going to be article again, right? Then class, and then we're going to do column, just like that, right? Oops. And then I'm just going to grab this because it'll be easier. We're going to copy that and, in here, sorry, and paste it just to make things a little bit easier. So P, blah, blah, blah. And this was a card, I believe. So we're going to make that a card. And I actually don't want it to scale too much because this is going to contain both a picture and text. So I don't want it to scale too much because then the text will it'll go past it, right? The text will move and it'll not be workable. So we're going to go ahead and use EMs on this. And I already looked this up. Usually what I end up doing is I just keep typing in different amounts of EMs and see what it looks like and then go off of that. So we're just going to do 15 EMs for the size. We'll save that. We'll go back to here. I'm going to hit Control R, and you're going to see it's going to go all the way across, right? But I want to have 4 of them, so I'm just going to put 4 of them across. So I'm just going to grab this article, not the whole row, just the article, because I want to have multiple ones. So I'm going to grab that, Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac, Control V or Command V if you're on a Mac, and I'm just going to paste it. Basically, I'm going to paste it 3 more times, or we're going to paste it 2 more times after the first time. You want 4 of them total. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. So each one's a card. So now you'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 articles. They're all just the same. We're going to replace all this with actual content, but for now, I'm just trying to get it kind of placed in there. Let's save that. Go here, hit Control R, and now you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Looks pretty good. All right, so what's next on the agenda? Now we need to do 2. So it's going to be the same thing again. We're going to go here. And so that was one section. This is going to be another section, right? Because we're starting a new row. So I'm just going to go ahead. Again, I just like to put spaces in between. Just makes it a little bit easier. Class, row, like so. Hopefully you're starting to see kind of a pattern here. And then we'll do article, class, COL, or column, like so. And then we'll just, I guess I could have just copy and pasted that. We're going to grab this, paste this in here. You could literally just paste it every time. And then I'm going to make these a little bit larger. So I'm going to make it 20 EMs. Oops. Because this is also going to contain text. Basically, if it contains text, use EMs. But if it contains an image, maybe use VWs is, I guess, the rule I would go with. And instead of a card, I'm just going to call it an article. Article. Okay. And that should be good. But I need 2 of them. So I'm going to grab this one. Control C or Command C. Enter. Control V or Command V. Get rid of that. And we'll hit delete. And we'll save. And then when we go to here, you will see Control R. We now have 2 of them, okay? And if you want to do 3, you just put 3 across, so on and so forth. Hopefully that makes sense. I am going to show you how to do a little bit more with it. So the last one is just our what you call it, the footer, right? So this time what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to grab this one here. So just this, because this already has all the stuff in it, and it's only going to be 1. So we'll just grab that one there. I'm going to put it in here, and then we'll Control V to paste it. So section, row, article, column, block, and then this will be called footer. So we know what it is. And then, again, this is going to contain text. So I'm just going to do 10 EMs, not JMs. There we go, like that. We'll save it. All right. And we'll go here, and I'll hit Control R to refresh, and then voila. So now you can see we have sort of our basic site. Now, it doesn't look exactly like what we have here, because notice that this only goes this many columns. It doesn't go all the way out to the outside. This one doesn't go all the way outside. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna show you how to do that later. But for now, we have the basic structure, which looks pretty close to what we wanted. And what you'll notice is it's responsive. So as I go like this, it does this. The other issue with it, notice, is this. When I squish it, see how these just become really thin? It would be better, especially for these ones, if they started stacking. But we're going to cover that in a little bit.